Lovely to see all of you here, lovely to see the people I do know, and even just as lovely to see the ones I don't, but whatever. So we've got a slightly reduced programme from expected today. Unfortunately, illness, but not COVID, but nonetheless illness has taken out one of the acts. So we've got 3 performers coming today, 3 acts, 3 performers, actually 3 solo acts. So before I actually announce who the first performer is, just a reminder that this is also obviously going out live, and there's a Zoom stream for the students and people involved as well. So please add the comments and any questions that you want to actually ask performers specifically. And I've got a feeling there might be a few more questions from the audience than usual, because there is a slight element of parallel universe about today's concert, as I think you might begin to appreciate at some point. If you haven't already, of course. All right, so first act this afternoon is Nelly Parks. She's a flautist, and she's going to be performing Mrs. Soggs by Chris Woods and Charlie and Andy Cutting. Please welcome Nelly Parks. Thanks so much, Nelly. That was great. Sorry, I was distracted then because there was a question coming up as to whether it was actually streaming or not, but apparently I think it is. So, is it streaming on YouTube? Does anybody know? If it isn't, and you happen to be near the building, just burst in through the doors and shout if you happen to be nearby. Thanks so much for that. It's amazing. So, I guess what we call folk, and what the department does here in that respect, so it's probably the thing I know least about, although I do have a massive interest in it, and I always loved watching performance from the degree performing. But tell me, that's an Irish flute, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And is that? Tell me about your own interest in the Irish flute and whether that's something that is a particular repertoire, or do you sort of diversify from that?
I played tin whistle when I was like a wee child, and then got given a silver flute, and then I thought, well, I played a whistle, I've played it all my life, and I see the music all about it.
Yeah, no, it sounds amazing, and I love the Irish flute, and I guess those kinds of flutes because they're wooden. I don't know why. Was that a big choice for you to go wooden instead of platinum or whatever flutes are made of?
Yeah, I feel like they're a warmer tone, much richer, and I feel like you can bend it a lot more and use it in the way you want to. Whether I feel like a silver flute, it's a bit more set in stone.
I guess it's strictly from the European tradition, right? The silver flute, I guess. Is it?
I think so.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess we're both not knowing fully. Tin whistle, though, do you still play it?
Yeah.
And have you got just one, or have you got like a range?
Got blends, yeah.
Yeah.
In all different keys.
Have you got like, how deep does it go? Is there a baritone?
Well, you can get like low A ones.
How long is that roughly? You're doing that from the floor?
No,
right.
no. I mean, I can't play it because my hands
I was kind of getting excited then. Yeah. Your hands are too small for it.
Yeah, I can't stretch enough to reach the holes properly.
Yeah, okay, that's amazing. Couldn't you just use your whole hand?
You've got to have 6 of them though.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Octopus may be all right. No, I'm really interested in the tin whistle, and I want to start using one. And actually, a few years ago, we had a visit from a guy from Galway, I think, or Limerick maybe, called Canal the Crochan. I think that was his name. Amazing flautist, I think, that he did a set with the tin whistle. It was just absolutely blinding. And ever since then, I thought, I'd like to do that. And I was thinking, where do I go? Just go into Mothercare to start with, but I'm not going to get the best instrument, am I? I shouldn't go into Mothercare now. My kids are grown up. So.
You got the little high D generation ones are quite good.
Okay.
Quite cheap, you get from Windows.
Oh right, okay. High D generation.
Yeah. Okay,
thank you. Have we got any questions for Nelly from the audience? I'm just going to quickly take my specs. I need to get reading glasses. Okay, don't see if there are any questions, but I'd like to ask you a couple more questions if that's all right.
Of course it is.
So, with your interest in doing that, okay, and obviously one of the things about performing here, either in the King's Hall on a Thursday afternoon or in an assessment recital, which is obviously one of the things you're going to have to do, where would you most like to actually be, where do you feel like that belongs for you? Where would you most like to be playing that sort of music?
In the kitchen with my dad.
Wow, okay, that's pretty exilic. That's not like, I was thinking of a venue or a pub, but that's a really nice answer though. So your dad, is he like your ultimate audience? Is he harsh if you play badly, or?
No.
Okay.
I don't know, he played in they called themselves the Kitchen Band because they play in our kitchen once a week.
Oh, I mean, it's actually a venue?
Yeah.
All right, okay.
They rehearse in our kitchen, and it's just always been a place for music.
Whereabouts in the world is this?
Down in Suffolk.
Okay. And is it like a legendary thing locally? Well, but people turn out, right?
Yeah.
What's the average audience or a large audience, a good crowd?
Pre-COVID, maybe like 15.
That's
20?
really nice. So is that where you've sort of started gigging for yourself? Is that okay. Just completely, since I'm on the lateral flow, it's online, there's a great movie about a band called Lightning Bolt, and it's called The Power of Milkshake and Salad. And there's a great scene in there where they perform in Lubbock, Texas, in the kitchen. So that was where my brain went as soon as you said that. And that was a local venue for them as well.
Yeah.
So, okay. Any questions still? No? Okay. Well, thanks, Nelly, and thanks for hanging around to answer your questions as well. All right, I'm staying here. All right, see you later. Sorry. Okay, next up we've got a second year undergraduate student, Mark Wardlaw. He's going to be playing something on the laptop right there next to the glowing blue Newcastle University logo. I guess take it away, Mark. Please welcome Mark Wardlaw. Thank you. That was amazing. I got some comments to make and some questions of my own. And I'm sure there'll be some questions, but first up, has it got a title?
That was literally called Student Concert.
Okay.
Would you like to know why?
Yeah, I would really like to know why that's called Student Concert.
So every sound in that was sourced from samples of previous student concerts from this year, from the YouTube channel.
Okay.
Some obviously came through more recognisable than others.
Yeah, at the end.
But the entire thing, there is no audio in that is not sourced somehow from the student concert recordings.
So we've got a situation where, at least for the first half of it, you'd never even begin to know that it was necessarily coming from even performances, right?
Yeah.
So what are you doing to the most extreme treatment there?
Yeah, so the most extreme stuff is setting of the sort of granular synthesis, which is breaking down samples into very, very small, few millisecond, less than sort of 50 millisecond chunks, rearranging them sort of algorithmically, and then there's some quite a lot of like spectral processing as well, and you've got sounds modifying other sounds. So you play two samples, and say the pitch of one will then affect the playback speed of another, and sort of fluctuate. And you can have these extremely complicated interactions between these different sources.
So that's counterpoint.
Well,
I guess it's a fugue.
Maybe it's a fugue state.
Yeah. All right. We've got a question here from Laura Jo Postlethwaite. I'd love to know what landscape Mark was imagining when he created this.
King's Hall.
Okay.
It's for the King's Hall and about the King's Hall. I wanted to haunt the place.
Well,
with its own.
I definitely had that feeling. I mean, I happen to know that that's what it was going to be. But did people feel like it was a kind of haunting of previous experiences? Question here from Ben. How many samples in total were going into that?
32, I think.
32 samples. Okay.
Of between maybe half a second and 5 seconds each.
Yeah, okay. Featured artists?
Anyone who's performed or spoken or applauded at a concert this year.
Okay. Including Larry?
Definitely Larry was in there.
Okay, yeah, I was looking out for him, but where is he? Have we got any questions from the floor? Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, so I've got a quadraphonic setup, which I don't think will translate to the live stream. Really interesting spatialized sound. If I could have more than 4 speakers, I would, but I didn't want to push my luck. Partly about that's about the space. This is a great space, great acoustic here, and sort of the more can play with it as well. And especially having an audience seated between the speakers can sort of send things flying around the room. I've got various ways of doing that. But yeah, I mean, that was very much for this space, composed for this space, from this space.
That's really interesting, actually, because you say we're talking about the acoustic in this space, right?
Yeah.
And you've been here for gigs over the years or whatever.
Yeah.
You're saying you really like this acoustic?
I wouldn't necessarily say I like it. I think I like it for some things.
Yeah.
But it was something I was aware of.
Yeah.
And it was made with this space in mind, with that acoustic in mind.
That's really interesting.
So, there's not a great deal of sort of reverb and things on the actual, well, obviously there is in the source recordings, but I knew the space itself would do a lot of the work, so I didn't need to sort of wash it out myself.
Yeah, that's amazing, because I felt it really did, it felt completely right in this space. Any other questions from the floor? Yeah.
During soundtrack I did, yeah. I would like to have been able to sit out in the middle, but yeah, I mean, cinema's kind of, I guess, the place that surround sound really took off and survived. It didn't in sort of consumer audio and stuff, which I think is a shame. But yeah, that's definitely where I mean, I'm not a big cinema goer myself or fan of cinema music, but that's definitely the techniques that they use are the same as a lot of spatialized music.
You're saying that about surround sound, but actually the thing that it reminded me of as a sort of experience, first of all, especially when those little bits of actual recognisable little tunes started coming through. Reminded me of Stockhausen Hymnen, which I have been at a couple of performances of when there is a surround, so you're surrounded by in the dark. And but that was way better for several reasons. I mean, obviously, in a sense, he didn't have access to the equipment. I mean, he was actually literally splicing on magnetic tape. What actually is the platform that you're using there?
I'm using VCV Rock, which at its core is it's a free, currently open source modular synth, virtual modular synth.
Virtual modular synth, so you haven't got to buy any hardware and wires or anything like that?
No, and it's a lot of the modules in it are copied from existing hardware modules. Okay. But then people have thought of things that you can't practically do in hardware. Yeah. Like some of that kind of stuff, and certainly a lot of the spectral stuff I was doing there doesn't really exist in hardware and kind of couldn't. Yeah. Because you need quite a bit of processing power still. That still isn't.
But you do hardware as well?
I do, yes. Yeah.
Do you see it as actually a different discipline?
No.
All right. Okay.
I don't. The workflow is the same. Yeah. Flows are the same.
Interesting.
If I get the gear, I'll probably start combining the two.
Yeah. Okay. So hang on. Open source virtual modular. Yeah. Okay. So if anybody's interested in pursuing that or even trying it out, that means if it's open source, it means it's free. Yep. I'll be getting.
It's open source now. I don't think it's going to stay open source, but it's still going to stay free.
Right. Okay. Interesting. Just one more question. Have you got any more from the floor or from the?
It's actually one other thing I wanted to mention. That was an inspirational piece. There are people who know the writer William Burroughs, Naked Lunch, etc. He had this idea that apparently he cursed this coffee shop by taking a recording there and playing it back in the same space. There's this idea that if you record a space and play it back into the space, you can actually cause quite, you can curse it and cause quite negative effects. That wasn't my intention, but if it happens, sorry.
Interesting. I'm scared now.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Mark. I just want to say quickly, ask you a question and make a plug as well, because whenever people are performing here, I did try and find out when they're performing. Okay. So you're on November the 7th, you're playing as Ken Assist.
I'm DJing for the Nelly Parks gig.
It's a DJ set?
DJ set, yeah.
All right, okay.
But with 3 decks and being fancy and stuff.
Yeah, well, honestly...
I mean, Nelly Parks are one of the greatest bands in the world.
So. Nelly Parks are one of the greatest bands in the world, on one of the greatest record labels in the world, which is Nyega, based in Uganda. November the 7th, Cobalt Studios. I definitely recommend you get to that. Even if you don't want to listen to Nelly Parks, even if you don't believe that one of the best bands in the world, honestly, listening to Mark DJ is something that is worth, no matter what kind of music is playing. And I'm always cribbing off of what you're playing. And more chances than if you've got a white label, more often than not, I'll ask you what it is, and you say, oh, that's one of mine. Yeah. So, Mark Wardlaw, everybody, thanks very much. Okay, so I know who's next, even though I haven't got my board, so I won't look at it as if I'm pretending to read it, because there's only one more act to go. It is Vehan Bandari. He was here, and so I'm kind of, anybody? I don't want to sort of have dead air. Oh.
Yeah, I know, why a little faggot, right? Jesus Christ. Anyways. Hello, everyone. Hello. Hi. So my name is Treacle. I'm Faye, but with makeup and a dress on. I can't play in the hills. Okay, so I'm gonna sing 3 original songs. Hope you enjoy them. Welcome, boys and girls, and all those in between. I'm pitching you the best deal this world has ever seen. Now you might think I'm putrid, and you might think I'm mean. So block your little ears if this isn't your scene. Your headphones don't work anymore. Let's put you on a bus into a chatty ball. Stubbed your toe, fuck it, step 3 more. Let's leave you feeling sore. There is one way, I'll leave you alone if you give your life for me to own. I'll suck your mind right through your bones, now pay your fucking loans. Pay with your soul, pay. I'm on payroll, now I make shit happen. Yeah, that seems unfair. I could ruin your life without a single care. My horns and tails speak miles, I'm aware. So if I were you, I'd just pay your fucking fare. Your privates have a nasty itch. You're welcome, hun. Now pay me, bitch. Walked up the stairs, now you've got a stitch. Go on, make me filthy rich. Your socks are cold and wet from snow. It sucks, you're right, just pay the dough. Your coffee mug has overflowed. It's just a salt you owe. So pay with your soul. I'm on payroll. Now, just because I'm Satan doesn't mean I treat you differently. I only want the best. Why wouldn't you just make that easy for me? Give your soul, give that ghost, give that little bit of you to me, and I promise your life will run too easily. So, pay with your soul. Pay. I'm on payroll. Stop it. Oh my god, thank you. If you're on Zoom, turn your fucking cameras on. We have to do that on Zoom, it's fine. Okay, so the next song I'm going to be singing is called Goddess. Oh. Thank you. Some loves in the front. Welcome now to my little inn. Oh, come on in and escape the freezing wind. Oh, bless you, hun, with your shivering body, your runny nose, and your delicious-looking face. Oh gosh, sorry, that came out wrong. I can see how my words can come off too strong. I honestly didn't mean to sound like a freak. What I meant to say was that you look absolutely on fleek. Goddess, goddess, beware of the goddess. Goddess, goddess, the mistress of the darkness. Goddess, goddess, there's no way to escape her. Goddess, goddess, she'll eat you up for dinner. I see you've got a coat, but would you like another? It's made from the skin of someone's dead mother. Oops, I meant to say it's made from cotton. I promise you it's not made from flesh that's rotten. Wait, you want to leave? Why so soon? Is it the horrible glow from the blood red moon? What do you mean by it's getting late? I still have yet to seal your fate. Goddess, goddess, beware of the goddess. Goddess, goddess, the mistress of the darkness. Goddess, goddess, there's no way to escape her. Goddess, goddess, she'll eat you up for dinner. You can try and run, kid, but you won't get too far. I've got knives and drills that will leave a scar. Your silky skin would make for a lovely dress. Oh yeah, by the way, I forgot to mention, then call me goddess. Goddess of pain, goddess of death, goddess of watching you breathe your final breath. Goddess of doom, oblivion, demise. Goddess of watching the soul of your eyes. Goddess, goddess, beware of the goddess. Goddess, goddess, the mistress of the darkness. Goddess, goddess, there's no way to escape her. Goddess, goddess, she'll eat you up for dinner. Thank you. That was just a little something from Bach, J.S. Bach. That's my fave. Right. Okay, so it's a record. So the next song I'm going to be singing is called Murder in the Closet. It's basically, oh no, I won't give you any pre-context. Another work meeting, she said with disappointment. I'm sorry, Ruby, I have to attend this appointment, but truthfully I knew I had to be with this guy Deck and massage his body as he bites on my neck. You're so fucking big. You're so fucking typical, she flipped the table. It was clear Ruby wasn't mentally stable. I'd angered the beast bad, hair burning red. I knew if she caught me, I'd hands down be dead. Sad eyes, beautiful guys, rose-coloured hair, a stunning demise. Singing pain like wood on a flame. The knife's in deep, but I can't blame. Lack of sound, oh, willing full death. The bitch has stolen my final breath. Confusion is short like being bashed with a rock. Body's gone hard like a solid stone block. Swallowed in bed like a mum with her boy. I can't keep my hands off my new chew toy. Dextral arms laid next to me. A night of passion and love and greed. What the fuck are you doing? Insult Ruby as you witness me eating this new guy's booty. He's just a friend, selling confidence and pride, but it was clear. Ruby knew I had lied. Sad eyes, beautiful guys, rose-coloured hair, a stunning demise. Singing pain like wood on a flame. The knife's in deep, but I can't blame. Lack of sound, no one in full death. The bitch has stolen my final breath. Confusion is short like being bashed with a rock. Body's gone hard like a solid stone block. Deck tried to escape, he started to crawl, but Ruby picked him up and yeeted him through a wall. It's just meaningless sex, I started to croak as she stabbed me repeatedly in the throat. Ah! My throat! Sad eyes, beautiful guys, rose-coloured hair, a stunning demise. Singing pain like wood on a flame. The knife's in deep, but I can't blame. Lack of sound, no willing full death. The bitch has stolen my final breath. Confusion is short like being bashed with a rock. Body's gone hard like a solid stone block. Thank you.
Beautiful, Faye, thanks so much. I just suddenly thought I should have a bouquet of flowers, really, shouldn't I?
Oh,
sorry. But listen, you were meant to perform 2 weeks ago, but you were ill.
Yes.
And then when you said you were postponing to today, I was so excited. I'm so proud to be the guy, because this is the first time you performed in here on the course. And we've spoken many times about the fact that, I'm sorry, I'm finding it really difficult. I follow your Instagram account, so I'm really familiar with this image, right? But I can't reconcile it with the person that I see in uni. No, doesn't help. Doesn't help. And I'm not complaining either. But no matter how famous you get, I don't think you're going to get recognised on the street when you're just walking down the street. It's that much of a transformation. So yeah, you came here as a performer, and this is the first time you've actually managed to perform here. So I'm so proud of that. I'm going to start off with a couple of questions actually that have come in from Olivia. So she's asking about inspirations. Mm-hmm. So tell us about your main inspirations for this kind of an act.
So I've always liked kind of darky, like horror kind of scary stuff. But I write all of my songs as poems. And hence why most of them are quite spoken word, but like also I put some melody in there. But I start with a poem and then just kind of put that to some form of music, and that's kind of my inspiration. Will be like anything that I see, I'll be like, oh, I could write a poem about that.
That's really interesting because a lot of songwriters will say they don't relate to poetry, and that taking poetry and making it into a song is something they can't do. Mm-hmm. Something I know I couldn't do. Do you write poetry that you don't make into a song as well?
No.
Are you a poet?
No.
Okay.
No, I actually don't like poetry. I just like writing.
Yeah, okay. That sounds pretty good. When you were saying about that horror thing at the beginning about the inspiration, one thing I'll never forget about the very first session we had for the first year performance lecture was when you introduced yourself. You said something like, you remember a different thing you said actually.
Yes.
But you said something like, I love things that are disgusting and nasty. I mean, musically.
Wait, what do you remember?
Well, that's it. The kind of music that you love is something that... I think you said you wanted to make disgusting, nasty sound. But what do you remember?
Because I remember you saying what everyone's inspiration was, and I said mine was like Rocky Horror Picture Show crossed with Dizzy Rascal crossed with some form of screamo.
Yeah, okay, well, okay. You see, my brain is I'm too simple for that. Have we got any questions from the floor? Yeah.
So this was actually a slightly quicker one. It was only an hour and a half. Hence why I only have one pair of lashes on. I feel naked.
There you go. I mean, I kind of feel the same with the way I dressed up. I could have made more effort and taken a bit longer. Any more questions from the floor? Okay, well I've got a couple more, if that's all right.
Fun.
So you do this basically professionally. This is something you do, right? How long have you been doing this?
I have been performing in drag for 5 or 6 years.
Okay.
So it started with my band, and then I came up to Newcastle and started doing like your typical like style. Thank you. Yeah, so I started doing that, and I kind of stopped performing in drag and singing or like doing anything musical. It was all just kind of lip syncs, and then actually the only past month I was like, student performance, yeah, tie the two together.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're doing, for your final specialism, you're doing composition.
Yeah.
And that's really exciting because it's going to be a musical,
Yes.
which we're going to have in Culture Lab,
Yes.
staged in there. But what are you doing performance as well?
I will be doing performance.
And how close to this is that going to be? You're basically doing something like. Okay.
50-50.
Yeah.
It's like half kind of this, but then also I want to do some like actual technical singing. So I'll be doing some like jazz, but
Okay.
I still like this little nod to my other side.
Yeah, which
Let's
isn't.
place that in.
It's not the only thing, right? I mean, you do this and you've got to a really high level with it, and I'll ask you a question about that in a sec. But you actually want to do other stuff, don't you, musically and artistically?
Yeah, no, I want to go into music therapy and community music.
Okay. Yeah. What's behind that for you?
I don't know. I enjoy it. So I really enjoy teaching, but also at the same time I feel like teaching's a tiny bit too. I'd like something that's a tiny bit more gratifying, if that makes sense, in terms of like the audience in which I'm teaching.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I'd rather, that's something that I want to go into, but also the therapy side, I really enjoy helping people.
Yeah.
And so I'd like to be able to tie all of those in, and community music is just kind of like, yay, big
I mean, I
concoction.
sense that from you anyway. Very empathetic sort of person, so it's like, you know.
Thank you.
Have we got any more questions before my sort of last question? Yeah.
So the last one, but I forgot how to play it on the piano, so I panicked. No, the last one, because it was one of the first ones that I ever wrote. I wrote it in like 10 minutes because my friend was having a shit, and I was like, ooh, that's fun. And then I was like, oh, I can put it to music, and then I added the scream in, and it just makes me laugh every time I do it. Like, I think it's fun. So I would say that one, or the first one. I don't really like Goddess, the second one, but I did it for experimental music, which like most of third year for my experimental, I got them to sing the second one that I did, the like Goddess part.
Right.
And then I used that recording for like half a second.
Oh, why so small?
Because it sounded awful.
Oh, okay. Cool. But presumably that's not why Mark was choosing such shit. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, the third one.
It's kind of appropriate Halloween this weekend.
Yes.
And we've just had the King's Hall freshly haunted.
Freshly cursed and haunted.
Yeah, hurted and haunted.
Yeah.
Actually, talking of hurting, right? You're about to go on tour this weekend, short tour.
Yes.
You're going to be playing. You play tonight, right? Somewhere? No, tomorrow night.
No, this was my tonight gig.
Oh, that's tonight. All right.
I'm going to go home and get a takeaway. Thank you.
Okay, tomorrow night is.
Tomorrow night I'm doing my Olivia Kelso, I want to say, and I'm doing the Findus Horse Meat Scandal performance, and then I'll be doing this whole like psycho clown thing.
Yeah, I've heard about the psycho.
And then I've got a meet and greet after, which is really fun because I have to sit there and go, "You're right. Did you have fun? Did you like it? Should we take a selfie? Do you want a hug?" Like,
yeah, meet and greet.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm supposed to be the kind of the lecturer here, but I've never had a meet and greet.
You've never had a meet and greet?
No.
So when you go to like an event or something and you're like, oh, I really like them, I want like a selfie and their merch and I want them to sign something.
Yeah.
I don't have merch and I'm too dyslexic for a signature. So I'm going to have to take selfies and I can't do that.
Too good. Getting back to the hurt side, you've told me about when you're playing and it usually is at the weekend, and I don't actually live here at the weekend at the moment, so I keep missing shows.
Yeah.
But there's an element of getting hurt in some of your performances, right? I think sometimes.
A little bit. I'll do like stapling and stuff.
Yeah, stapling. Do you want to just quickly tell us about the stapling? Because that sounds kind
Oh,
of
I staple myself. But like it's all part of like performance art, and it just feels like acupuncture, but it looks edgier. It's like acupuncture's goth sister, so I'm like, yeah.
You know what? You've just given me a great idea for a small business. I could open it
Goth acupuncture.
in Gosford, you know?
What's that?
Acupuncture with an edge.
Acupuncture with an edge.
Yeah, good morning. Just, you know, that's acupuncture, man.
Fine.
So you're on tour.
Yes.
Thanks so much, Vey. What a treat.
Thank you for having
Thanks,
me.
everybody. Have we got any more questions quickly? Okay, and I'll just quickly check. Yeah, there is one more question here. A lot of storytelling. Maybe ask about messages coming across performing versus story. So, the performance of the pieces versus the story you're telling.
So, for the first one, because that was Satan's song, the whole premise is that I was Satan trying to convince you into making a deal. Hope that translated. So obviously that works with my whole like upside down crucifix like thing. The second performance, yeah, checks out. The third one not so much, but I was already kind of here at this stage, so I was like vibe.
Yeah, I can see
I'll
that.
just chuck that one in. I'm doing a scream anyway. It seems edgy.
Yeah.
It works.
Would you normally take, like, I did one show over lockdown, I mean, abroad, which involved being part of a theatre show. I'm not used to part of it. People, and I was one of those people that bowed at the end of the thing, which I've never done in my life. Would you normally bow? Or
I normally curtsy, but I forgot.
No, but we could get a round of applause now, and then you could curtsy for us. Thanks so much, Vey. Thank you, Vey. So, get on his Instagram. Treacle Macabre is the account, and it comes up on my feed and it makes my day. What can I say? Just quickly to say, one of the things I do when I'm listening on my phone is old John Peel shows, and quite often you'll find that John Peel will play a record and he'll sort of say, yeah, I suppose I meant to mention about the language there, but in blah, blah, blah. So, obviously a first for the King's Hall, I think, the prominence of the F word, well, bring it on. This is a university and we're adults, so there you go. Thanks for doing it. Yeah, and so this is I'll be presenting in a few weeks' time again. What a treat to be back here. It's been like almost 2 years since I did this. It might be a different audience next time because I think they're jumbling up the crowd. Kind of nice, everybody's spread out. At this I feel like I can see every face, not that that's important, but what do you want? Okay, thanks very much for watching, thanks very much for listening, see you next time.